Radio Ready Vocals, day two.
Day two.
We are live in the building.
Yes, sir.
Not a restream like what a lot of people think.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Glad to have you guys.
Who's all excited for day two? Day two, creating your template. We got a chance to kind of kick it with a lot of you yesterday. You got to hear a little bit more of our story. Hopefully everybody is closing out a solid. I know people are tuning in from all across the country. So you may be kicking off a great Wednesday, but for us here on the East Coast, closing out a nice Tuesday. But cool, guys. So what we're going to do is today, I'm not doing the teaching. I know everybody in here is grateful for that. I know that I'm grateful for that because, hey, you've got Grammy award-winning mixing engineer Maddox, who is going to be your instructor today, and I got something teed up.
Sure, let's go.
We are. Oh, so you got one too, huh?
No, that wasn't me.
It's Lupin.
What's going on, everybody? How many people we got in here right now? Let's see. Got
some people tuning in. And real quick, because I don't want to waste a whole lot of time. I do want to kind of let them know something really fast, because I know we've got some people tuning in from our Facebook group. Then I know we've got some people tuning in on our YouTube channel. So if you're on Facebook, drop a Facebook down in the chat. If you're on YouTube, drop a YouTube down in the chat. Let's see who's going to win that battle. But if you are on YouTube, I got to let you know something, because you're going to be missing out on something. If you have not officially registered, you go to challenge.myaudioacademy.com. That's how you're going to be able to get officially registered for the challenge. And what is officially registered for the challenge mean? That means you're going to be able to get you're going to be able to get access to our private Facebook community, to where we can actually interact a little bit more over the next 5 days. And two, we have pieced together an entire 32-page PDF guide just for this challenge. How you're going to be able to get access to that is by registering for the challenge at challenge.myaudioacademy.com. And this is what it looks like. It's nothing like, literally there's even some things in here that we don't even cover, like, the difference between a condenser mic, a dynamic mic, a ribbon mic, some of that stuff. We also cover, if you were on here yesterday, we walked through how to actually set up your Pro Tools template. All of that's in there, so you can quickly, reference back to that as well. And then today, you are going to be able to learn from the GOAT, my mentor, the guy who helped me tremendously with my confidence on the come up as an audio engineer. Maddox, Mad Mix Shem, credits like 21 Savage, J. Cole, to Camilo, to Mike Towers, to Ray Schrimmer, to... I could keep going, but we waste the rest of the time.
Yeah, I forget my credits too, dude. I got to look them up sometimes. But
cool.
Ready to get into it?
Cool. So I'm gonna pull this back off the screen here, and let's see. So YouTube, we got a lot of people on YouTube, man. And then I see Saint is in here. He said he don't have a Facebook. Grab the Facebook, man. Grab the Facebook.
Man, you got to have a Facebook.
I downloaded a Facebook just for this too. So
I use Facebook for family and friends and high school people.
But it's a lot more, like, you're really going to be able to interact. I think right now we've got about a little over 400 people in there. And I think that's one of the perks of the challenge too, is like the community aspect of it as well, not just the training. Really quick too, I'm going to be the boring guy today. Let's see here. Yeah, download it. Download Facebook. We should have an affiliate link for Facebook here. The boring stuff. Actually, the fun stuff. You see, we marked some of that stuff out. Some of the basic housekeeping things that we need to talk through. We've already kind of walked through a little bit of it. One of the things with the trainings that I didn't talk about too much yesterday, these trainings, we are going to keep them live for up to 48 hours. That way, I know we've got some people tuning in from totally different parts of the country. We're here on the East Coast. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to actually view this, implement it into their workflow so that they can really learn. So we are going to keep these replays up for 48 hours. If you are on here live, though, drop a live in the comments. LIVE, all caps. If you're on the replay, drop a replay in the comments. And the VIP access, this is something that I butchered yesterday about all the things that's actually included within the VIP access. Basically, what you're going to be getting with this VIP access, and you can find this at challenge.myaudioacademy.com/ I think it's VIP. If you're already registered, you're going to be able to click a link that we send out an email to. But basically, what you're going to be getting is lifetime access to all these recordings. So if you're like me, I have to watch something like 4, 5, 10, 11 times for me to actually, for it to click. I don't know if you're like that, Maddox. I definitely am. I'm just like a little bit slower learner, I guess. But I like to, reference back to things. With the VIP access, you're going to get all access to all of these recordings for life. You're going to have that in a really cool members area that we've made for you. You're also, this is like the biggest benefit to me. At the end of the 60 minutes each day that we go live, you're going to have daily VIP private access. So last night we got to kick it with a handful of select of the VIP members, and you have free reign to ask whoever's instructing that night any question. I know this is something that Maddox doesn't offer outside of this. I know Prizzy doesn't offer this outside of this, and I know Kevin also does not offer Q&A stuff like this. So this is once in a lifetime opportunity to ask Grammy winning engineers the questions that you specifically have. Not only that, you're going to get the Pro Tools template. So everything that Maddox is going to cover today as he creates your template, definitely follow along. But for efficiency's sake, if you get the VIP access, you're going to be able to get a downloadable link to get the template. You're going to get 3 PDF guides. That's going to include a Pro Tools cheat sheet. You're going to have all the relevant Pro Tools that you need to be using. You're going to have a quick start guide, and then there's one more guide that I'm drawing a blank on. That's on the website. But you get all 3 of those PDF guides and a new bonus. We just got this cleared. So day 3 and day 4, we're actually walking you through a live recording session. Day 4, Prizzy's going to walk through an actual live mix session, and you're going to be able to get the actual Pro Tools session files for you to be able to kind of practice with. That's one of the biggest big requests that we typically get is some Pro Tools session files. So if you're already VIP, check your emails, check your members area. You're going to have access to all this already. If you're not, definitely check out challenge.myaudioacademy.com/VIP. And then, you're also going to be receiving some emails with that link as well. So let's see. Yeah, this is the link, challenge.myaudioacademy.com/VIP. And I think that kind of does it for me. The blueprint, just gonna go back to the blueprint. Today, we obviously completed create your session. Yesterday, walked through all that, making sure the interface is going to interact with your Pro Tools. That's where we get most of our questions is like, hey, like my setups, I don't get any sound. Yesterday, we covered all that stuff, the very generic, basic stuff. Tonight, Maddox is going to walk you through how to actually create your radio-ready vocals Pro Tools template.
Yes, sir.
So if you are ready, drop a ready down in the comments, and I'm going to pull these things off. I'm going to take a back seat. And Maddox, you good to share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's dive into it.
All right, let's go. So first thing, Jordan showed you guys this yesterday. Let's create a new session. Let's go ahead and call it radio ready vocal template. (4824) interleave, and let's choose a location. I'm going to put it on my work drive. MAA for My Audio Academy. So this right here should just create a blank Pro Tools session. There's nothing in the window. There's nothing in the tracks. So we're going ahead and create all that. So let's go ahead and create a recording template. There's also, you can also have a mix template, but I would say for a mix template, you kind of make that as you mix and start finding like cool reverbs that you want to save or cool effects and delays. And if you have like a vocal chain that, you can use when you mix, you guys can save that in the mixing template as well. But for this one, we're going to get it started as a recording template. We're going to get it ready for Kevin for tomorrow. He's going to be recording with this template. So the first thing we can do is create a couple aux tracks. So what an aux track is, you can use it for your effects. You can send effects there. You can use it to create subgroups for like lead vocals, background vocals, for different types of music, like guitars or drums, effects. So let's go ahead and create a couple of these. We're going to use these for some reverb, some delays, just to have them ready in the session. So when you're recording, you have your delays and effects ready to go. So go ahead and let's create 4 stereo aux tracks and just hit create. And that will bring up your aux tracks. So what I usually like to do is solo save all the tracks. When doing this, for example, if you don't have these solo safe and you have a vocal and you solo the vocal and you have the vocal sent to these effects, you won't be able to hear the effect because it's not soloed. So what we do to be able to hear that is we solo save it by hitting Command Option Shift. And that will solo save all of these tracks. Just to make sure you guys have the same settings to be able to do this. As when you guys highlight the tracks, you can see it's highlighting every single track on the side over here. You have to make sure these are active. If not, they won't link the edit window to the tracks. So if I turn it off, as you can see, look, it's not highlighting the tracks.
Yeah.
And now when you have it on, just hover over it. It says link, track, and edit selection. So now you're able to select all the tracks. So now what we got to do is we have to route the inputs of these auxes. So what I like to do is a quick key to route them in order. And you have to make sure you have open buses. Is Command Option Shift. You click on the first track, go to bus, and you have to have 4 open buses back to back for this to work. So as you can see, I have a lot of open buses. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this top one right here. And then it routes your inputs in order automatically. 13, 14, 15 to 16, 17, 18, 19 to 20. All right, so let's call this one a plate. And we'll go down. A quick way to go down your track names is holding down Command and just the down arrow. And it'll take you to the next track, and you can just rename it there. Call this chamber.
And as you're labeling these two, one of the things I'm going to do in the comments is I'm going to drop one of the videos that we did last year just on aux tracks, send tracks, and buses. So if any of this is confusing, just follow along. Feel free to ask any questions too in the chat, but we've also linked that as well if something's not really clicking.
So I like to stay organized in my sessions. So what I like to do is I also like to rename my buses. So a bus is pretty much these right here. and you use these to send your tracks to these auxes. So let's go ahead and rename this one plate. You guys will get a better understanding of what I'm about to do when I have the other tracks, the vocal tracks made. Let's call this one chamber. Call this one hall. And rename this bus delay. Cool. So now let's go ahead and put some effects on the actual aux itself. So for this one, we can use any type of reverb. Let's see if we can do a R verb on here. A quick way to do this, if you don't want to go through and like search through all your plugins, if you have a lot of plugins like me, just hit search, type it in, R verb, brings it up right here, bam.
And you got every reverb ever created, it looked like.
Yeah, I got a good bit of reverbs. For this one, let's do a deverb. And then here's another quick key. If you need the same plugin and you just want to copy it to the track below it, hold down Option on the keyboard, click the plugin, and just drag it down. And there it is. This one's a hall. And let's go ahead and do a delay. Let's go with what is it? I do have a lot. Let me see. There we go, mod delay. And this one is just a Avid Pro Tools delay. Cool. So now that we have our effects set up, let's go ahead and create some vocal tracks. So when you're recording, you're going to record them on an audio track. So what I usually like to do is I usually have a record track, and then I have a couple of tracks under the record track, maybe for like, lead vocals, backgrounds, ad-libs. And this way it's easier for you guys to, comp and save takes as you're recording. So let's go ahead and create 4 stereo audio tracks. Kevin will probably get into this when he's recording and showing you guys that tomorrow. So let's label this one record track. And I like to color code these. So the way to do that is just double click the track. It'll bring up your color palette and you can select the color here. So record track, I like it red because of the record is red. Then for these, just gonna do like lead, ad-lib. Actually, no, let's do lead 2. And then maybe like ad-libs. So now that we have these tracks created, we need to create an aux for these to be routed to. That way you guys can do processing on this aux for your vocal recordings, just because you don't want a lot of effects on each track. It will slow down your computer and it will introduce delay and latency when you're recording, and you don't want to deal with that when you're recording. And what I mean by delay and latency is, so when you have an artist and they're recording and they have their headphones on, if you have a bunch of plugins and a bunch of processing on, it's going to slow down your computer. So when they're doing a take, there's going to be a delay between, them saying it and hearing it back in the headphones.
Who's experienced that? Down in the comments, who's experienced going to a studio or trying to record somebody, and then there's like a super, feels like you're drunk recording. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, it definitely kills the vibe. All right, so we can call this the vocal bus. So what we got to do is we got to send all these tracks to this vocal bus. Same thing. Go ahead and select all of them, and we're gonna hold down Option Shift. This will send all of the outputs to the same bus. So let's go ahead and send it 2324. Now all of them are sent to the same bus. And let's rename it Vocal Bus. We got to rename this Vocal Bus? Okay, I did. Let's just name it Lead. Don't worry, you guys will get into the fun stuff tomorrow. This is kind of a little dry, but you have to do it.
I think the vocal bus is like super important because I think somebody yesterday was kind of talking about this may have been in the VIP session. Like they were talking about having experience in like their computer bogging down whenever they add plugins.
Yeah.
And I think that vocal bus that you just created is like that changed the game for me at least. I was like, oh, like I can affect all of my vocals in one bus. So I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, so everything that you do on this vocal bus, it will process all the tracks down here. So let's go ahead and round this one to lead. Okay, cool. And then on the record track, your input will vary depending on what your interface is. It could be input 1, input 2, wherever you have your mic plugged in. Just for this purpose, I'm just going to leave it blank. But you definitely want to make sure this is routed in your template when you guys are making one. The record track, yeah, that's a good catch, actually. You definitely do not want to do that. Record, you don't want to record in stereo. So yeah, let's fix that. Thank you for calling that out.
Have you ever seen a big difference between like a vocal being in, like on a stereo audio track versus a mono? Or do you
I mean, it'll just record to one side.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, you were supposed to record a mono. That was my bad. Thank you for catching that.
So you're gonna get double the reps today. That's why you're on the
I'm getting my practice in. I haven't made one of these in a while. Record track. Who is that? Facebook user. Wait, no.
I'm gonna hop on here. Let's see.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, so on Facebook, Facebook's kind of strange where like we can't see your names on the screen. We can't see everybody on YouTube. However, Facebook, unless like you select an option, we can't see the name. It was so shout out James. James is in here. That's who it was.
Hey James, shout out James. Thank you for that. I was about to look a fool.
We'd have just had 400 people, creating stereo.
It's like, why am I recording a mono vocal on a stereo track?
So, yeah, cool. I mean, kind of seen the same process twice. So all the aux, just to highlight this, so all your auxes and vocal bus, you made those stereo, right?
Yes, correct.
And then all your audio tracks you're actually recording the vocals on, that's all mono.
Yeah, they're mono, exactly.
Cool.
You want all your effects, all your reverb, all your delays to be stereo because it's there to create a space and ambience, a stereo image. So you don't want it to be mono. You want them to be stereo for your reverbs and delays and all your effects. And then when you're recording, a microphone is a mono signal, so you need mono tracks. And then I have, a lead 2, and ad-libs. These two are pretty important. Make sure you have at least 2 or 3 or 4, lead tracks. Because, for example, if you're recording an artist, let's just pretend this is a take. All right, they say, I like this take. What you can do is you can click it, drag it down, hold down Control so it doesn't lose a spot, and just drag it down. And he said, I want to continue recording from there. Okay, cool. Boom. This is his next take. And it, overlaps. So you can't overlap them like this. It'll just delete you know, partial, part of that take. So what you can do is just drag it down to the track below it, and there you go. And you can comp on the fly. Um, that's what I've done in the past when I record vocals. So it helps out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like because I know at one point, whenever you were recording Tyga, like he was probably, from what I remember you saying, like he's like pretty fast paced. So like
Mm-hmm.
you've got, as soon as he's done recording, you have to like, you don't really have the time to create another track. And I feel
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
really where that record track, because like you get done recording, boom, pull it down, and he's like, especially if you're freestyling, doing like rap,
Yeah,
hip hop stuff.
yeah.
I think that's definitely a key. And honestly, I don't even think I knew about that until like the last few years. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a pro tip. I know we briefly kind of breezed over that, but that's definitely a pro tip, especially if you're a recording engineer.
Yeah, because most people, they'll go through one track, arm it, record it. Well, I don't have any inputs, but um, they'll arm it here. Okay, let's record. Boom, they record it, and then I'll say next take. Oh no, I got to come down here and then record on this track. That just takes too long.
Yeah.
By that time, they probably would have forgot the line if they're freestyling.
Yeah.
So it's all about being quick and having a template ready to go and being efficient.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's a difference of like, a couple seconds, and like that, a couple seconds can totally, jack up a vibe. And then if you're doing that every single take, I mean, you're probably working with 300 to 500 takes in every session. So
Yeah,
like, that's 300 to 500 seconds. I'm not great at math. That's actually the reason why I dropped out of school. But 300 to 500 seconds is a few minutes of the vibe kind of being thrown off. So pro tip there, definitely do that.
yeah.
Um,
Luckily for me, Tyga was pretty chill. He was real cool. I mean, I was pretty quick when I was recording, anyways, so it wasn't really a problem for me. But yeah, I mean, this will definitely help you, get to speed, get up to speed. Just having everything ready, like when you're, pulling up to a session, you're not trying to create a template with reverb and tracks and stuff to record. You just have it ready to go, open it up, pull in the beat, and then start recording.
yeah. Speaking of that, would you be down to, you maybe, I feel, if you're covering something else, feel free to switch up what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that we did yesterday, whenever we created the template, is like we just created it from scratch.
Yeah.
And with what you were just saying, like one of the reasons why you want to have this recording template is, say you guys are, you're recording your artist, or I mean, even yourself, like you're not really wanting to think like super technical. At least I wouldn't want to be doing that. You're not wanting to think super technical whenever you're actually being creative and creating. So whenever you create this template, this is going to allow you to kind of get in that ballpark instantly
Mm-hmm.
compared to having to recreate all this. Because, and just to clear this up, if you're newer into Pro Tools, you're not going to have to do this every single session. Literally, you do this once, and then if you don't mind, Maddox, show them how they would save this as a template so that they
Yeah.
can quickly open it back up in the future.
Yeah. So what do you do to save a template? Is you pretty much hit File, Save as Template, radio vocal template. Then you can select the location, but it's usually in the that window when you first open Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and close this. And then when you create a new session, File, Create New, it will be from here. Create from template, and then whatever you saved it as right here. I had it under Maddox, radio ready vocal template V2. Create, and bam, you're ready to record.
And you're done.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, if you do it the way that Maddox walked through, like literally your entire interface is set up, your microphone is going to be set up.
Mm-hmm.
You literally drag and drop the beat into Pro Tools and you're recording. Now,
Yep.
obviously, we haven't done much plugin work yet. Are you going to cover that?
Yeah, I was trying to go through, creating a vocal buzz, just a standard starting point.
Yeah, and
But
then
yeah, like Jordan was saying, like, you don't want to think too technical when you're about to get into a session. You just want to have it ready to go, and that's the reason why I have like a mixed template as well. I don't want to think about all the reverbs and delays that I have to create to mix this record. I just have it there. I imported it in all my auxes, all my plugins and stuff that are already there that I typically use, and I can just dig in and just start mixing.
Yeah. Cool.
So let's get back to finishing this vocal bus. We're just gonna put in some standard plugins that you guys should have, like a de-esser. This is a good plugin to have when you're recording. What did I do? Mono stereo. I did mono.
Dude, I totally messed up your flow. You definitely don't want to save the template before you add the plugin. So, let's wish we could reverse this, but we are live. So don't save the template until you actually throw in the plugins.
Yeah, so you want to get all your plugins set, and then go up here and then hit File, Save as Template. We were just showing you guys how you do it really quick, but okay. So we have a de-esser. You're gonna need a compressor of some sort, and it doesn't matter. I get this question all the time. Do you put a compressor first or you put an EQ first? I don't think it matters. What is this? What did I just pull up? Codecs. Oh, I have a cool plugin I never used.
That did look pretty crazy. As you're pulling that up, I see a comment here. Do you transfer all of your recorded vocals from your recording template into the mixing template?
No. So I'll usually after you get done recording, you'll mix. You'll do like a rough mix in that session, and then you'll send that over to whoever's mixing it, and then they'll take it from there. They'll either import their mixing template into the session and just start off from where you work, but you never like just import. I mean, I guess you can, but what I usually do is I'll import my mix template into the recording template, or the recording session.
Cool.
What do you do, Jordan? Do you ever do that? Do you take a session and import it into your template, or do you import your template into the session?
Yeah, I would. If it's a mixing template, it's definitely I'll import. I just download the Mad Mix template from our YouTube channel and then import everything from the Mad Mix template.
Yeah, if you guys search the internet, I have a template out there you guys can use. It's a little advanced, but the routing and everything is pretty much kind of like the same way as this, but it's not for recording, it's for mixing.
Yeah. I think that one's like pay what you want to. So like you could literally put 0.00.
Yeah, it's free, or it could be $1, or it could be $1,000, whatever you guys feel like paying for it.
You feel like blessing us with $1,000? We may donate you something. We may send you a T-shirt.
Just let's have a little bit of EQ going on here. This is a basic 6-band EQ. You just want to have it ready. You're not really gonna adjust things, and then you can basic cut up, roll off, or something like that, and maybe dip out some of the low mids. But normally you'll dial that in as you're recording, like as you're getting levels and stuff, which Kevin will show you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and use these effects that we made up here. So to do that, just send the vocal bus to the effect. So now you have this vocal bus sending to this fader, which sends the signal to this aux. I know it's a little confusing at first if you don't know anything about signal flow and routing, but it's pretty much taking the audio from this and sending it here. So you can have the reverb effect. And where this is getting the audio from, can anybody answer? Take a guess. Where is this vocal bus getting the audio from? If you guessed it right, it's from these audio tracks. So these audio tracks are sending audio to this aux vocal bus. which you send to the reverb. Yes, sir, the leads, correct. So I like just to have these preset on the sends, just so like if I want more plate reverb, I can just click it, turn it up. If I want more chamber reverb, click it, turn it up, and then boom, we have reverb.
What compared to, because like I know some people may put like the reverb on the actual vocal bus. Can you maybe just really quick just explain why you would maybe want to send compare versus like putting that reverb on directly on the vocal bus?
You talking about like directly here?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it either or. I just have, if you have, for example, if you have a bunch of, I guess, delays and reverbs here, it'll work the same way. The controls, will be inside of the reverb and delays, like for the mix.
I always feel like the send's just a little bit more convenient.
What is
I
this?
feel like I have a little bit more control. Oh, what is that? You're pulling up some like crazy plugins, man. I've
I don't
never
even
seen.
know what that is. All right. Yeah. So like, versus, so this would be the fader right here versus the fader here. For me, I just find it to be easier just to have these. I don't think there's an advantage, is there? Besides
I feel like one of the things
being
that
able to use the same plugin more than once.
one of the things I learned from you is like on some of like your special, like your different like effects is sometimes you would EQ out the reverb. I feel like you always have a little bit more control because like after those and this is
Oh yeah,
obviously
true. Yeah, true.
I just feel like and honestly, like I don't do it too much. Honestly, I rarely do it, but like if you want to get like crazy Travis Scott, like wild effects, I feel like you have a little bit more control over having like a send, like
Yeah,
Maddox
exactly.
explained.
Yeah, so you could do more processing to your reverb on these inserts versus, if you wanted a, reverb with a delay, it'll be harder to do it here on the inserts on the vocal bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because at that point, you're affecting like you would be affecting everything from the audio tracks, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And this way, you're just on these. You're just manipulating the reverb or the delay.
Yeah. Cool. Is that making some sense? Trying to keep it super simple. But those are like honestly, like these are pretty advanced topics. Like I remember it probably took me about 7 or 8 years to actually understand what a send was. How are y'all feeling? Dude, I think you explained it like solid.
Yeah. So, send is pretty much, it's in the name itself. It sends it to a different place.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking signal flow, is sending a copy of this signal to wherever you're sending it, to the plate, to the chamber, to the hall, or to the delay, is sending it to one of these places.
Cool. Yeah, I see in the comments it's clicking. It's clicking for people. So
Let's go. All right. So now that we have, our reverb. Oh no, don't crash. Okay. So now that we have our reverb set up, we have our vocal bus set up. We have our record tracks and our leads and ad-libs tracks set up. We want to hear it on your speakers. And you can either, I've seen a lot of people, they'll just leave every aux, every vocal bus out 1 and 2. But for me, what I like to do is I like to send it to a main aux and call it the mix bus. So this is where everything is going to get mixed down to this aux right here. And then I'll send my output for this one to my output. So we're going to send all the reverbs and the vocal bus aux to a bus. We're sending something to a bus, which is 25 and 26. And then we're going to set this input of the mix bus to 25 and 26 and rename it mix bus. So now everything is going to one place, which is the mix bus, which is the final like aux in the session. Um, and it comes out 1 and 2 or whatever you're listening on. And this is where we'll have, your master um, processing. So we can do like, like a L2 for limiting. So this will make the overall session or, mix down louder. Kevin and Prizzy will get into this a little bit more in their modules when they're actually breaking it down when they're recording and mixing. But for the most part, this is how you create a template. You want to have a mix bus, your effects, vocal aux, your record track, and your tracks to have your takes on leads, ad-libs, backgrounds, harmonies. Depending on the artist, if it's a R&B singer, you'll have probably 20 background tracks. But if it's rap or something like that, you'll have maybe a lead and some ad-libs. But yeah, I think that's
And for the people that whenever, because I know I messed up the flow a little bit earlier, I jumped the gun. And now after you've got the plugins, that's whenever you would actually save your template. And now whenever you open it up, you would have access to all of the plugins. Yeah, so here you go. So like here's another rep. So now, you're not having to go back in. Because, I mean, obviously that took us about 30 minutes to do.
Mm-hmm.
That would be miserable, and you would lose every bit of creative juice.
Here it is right here. Create a recession with the name. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah. There it is. Now you're ready to record. Import a 2-track and get recording.
I don't think we overcomplicate it any more than that. I think it's that simple. Who feels like Pro Tools is, especially if you're a beginner, who's starting to feel like Pro Tools may be a little bit more simple than what you imagined?
Yeah, I think the most complicated thing about Pro Tools is just understanding the routing and creating the right auxes and tracks.
Yeah. Nice and simple, easy, makes sense.
And then in the PDF, I think does it have like a lot of quick keys and stuff in there, Jordan?
That is going to be the VIPs.
Okay.
So if you do got VIP access, you got access to one of the PDF guides. If you've seen everything we talked through earlier, you're getting all those bonuses. I think you'll appreciate the price whenever you actually get to this link. I would almost like guarantee it. Like if you pay for this and you're like, I haven't talked to anybody else on the Academy about this, but if you pay that ticket and you feel like you didn't get your money's worth, shoot us an email and we'll get you taken care of, because literally what we've packed in there, like one of the things that Maddox talked through, if you Google like the Pro Tools shortcuts, you're going to have at minimum like 120 shortcuts that you will never use. So what we did with the VIP access is one of the PDF guides that you're going to get access to in your members area is like our go-to shortcuts. Some of the things that he talked through, Maddox talked through on how to route different things, all that's in there in your members area. So
coming from Fruity Loops, I'll say it's a lot better, definitely. Do the artists who record punch in a lot? Yeah, they do punch in a lot. So you have the punch feature here, the record. You have a bunch of different ones right here: normal, loop, destructive, quick punch. You want to have that active. And then, for example, if he wants to punch in between here, then what you would do is, it doesn't have input. Let's put one. So what you do here is, you know, have the count off on a bar. Why is it turning so far back? I don't have the count off. Well, anyways, he wants to punch in here. Oh, look at that. We're punching it in. Cool. Bam. Take done.
You're right on to the next bar.
Right on to the next one.
Cool. Yeah, man. It looks like all the comments that I'm seeing is it's clicking. Like one of the big things that we get, like a lot of the comments that we got on the ad is it's like, oh, I don't use Pro Tools. I wish y'all did this for like other softwares. One, we would be terrible teachers of any other softwares because
Yeah.
I think none of us really even use. I do think Prizzy's got some experience in FL.
I got some experience in like Logic, but man, it's been a long time. I mean, like, routing is going to be the same in Logic. There's going to be a transport bar where there's play, record, and whatever. You just got to figure it out. It's not too hard. I think once you get a basic understanding of routing and, like, recording and play and where the transport and everything is, and it's pretty much the same across all the DAWs.
Yeah.
It's just, what you're used to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, I don't think there's no reason to drag it out. I know some of y'all may have some things you got to get to. Maybe got some kids. Maybe got a hot pocket in the microwave you got to jump to. So hopefully that kind of simplified some stuff really quick. Just going to kind of pull up the blueprint one more time. So tonight we covered how to create your recording template, and our goal throughout each and every day is just to kind of take it step by step in bite-sized pieces. That way, when day 5 comes around, Pro Tools is not overwhelming. You're going to realize, like literally tomorrow, we're recording on a setup that's less than $500. Prizzy's literally going to mix Thursday. We specifically got him to mix these vocals in session only using stock Pro Tools plugins.
And some Wave plugins, like Essential Waves plugins.
Yeah. I think it's like maybe less than $50 of Waves plugins that he's using. So super simple, super straightforward to the point. It looks like, things are starting to kind of simplify. Hopefully you are. And let's see if there was anything else. One more time, because we are about to jump to the VIP session. So if you're VIP, definitely check out your email. We sent out your private link. If you're not VIP, if you're not registered, definitely come and register at challenge.myaudioacademy.com. You're going to get that PDF guide that Maddox talked through. But for our VIPs, like I said, I haven't talked to any of the other guys. They may kick me off the team for doing this, but it's like, if you invest in the VIP access, I may even personally refund you the money if you don't feel like you got your money's worth, because you're getting lifetime access to the recordings. You're going to get a daily private VIP call literally right off of this. After this, Maddox is going to hop on there, answer any questions that our VIP members have. We typically stay on there anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, kind of going through that. You're going to get the Pro Tools template. So I do want to kind of give you some homework. I would recommend you going back through and creating this template at least 5 times before we get to tomorrow. How you're going to be able to get efficient in Pro Tools is your reps. However, if you just want to kind of check your work, we've provided this Pro Tools template. Everything you just seen tonight, you're going to get that template in your members area. You're going to get the 3 PDF guides that we talked through, and then the new bonus. We did just get it approved. We've got a recording artist who is signed to a pretty impressive record label. We just got him to clear the files that we'll be recording tomorrow and mixing on day 4. You're going to get the recording session files for Pro Tools so you can get your practice reps in, but you're also going to get the mixing session files as Prizzy mixes it Thursday. So if this is for you, maybe you don't really, you click on the link and you're like, hey, this is a little bit too much. I think you're going to click on there and you're going to be surprised at the price. And if it is, we're going to provide plenty of enough value for you to get your feet wet into Pro Tools, get your journey started, and you're going to learn a lot with the free version, and that's ultimately our goal. But for the select few of you that want that extra treatment, that VIP treatment, check out challenge.myaudioacademy.com. And VIP members, we're going to hop in there in the next few minutes.
Let's go.
Cool. Will there be a mixing template? So like you're literally day 4, you are literally going to get the full session that Prizzy mixes. So yeah, like you could take that and that could be your mix template.
And if you search YouTube or the internet, you might find one out there called a Mad Mix template.
Yeah. So if you're not following us on YouTube too, I'm sending you guys everywhere. Check us out on YouTube. That's there's some really cool resources on there as well.
Cool.
Well, cool. Thank you. Killed it.
Yes.
Maddox, think you nailed it. Everybody seems like it's been clicking. Go ahead and jump into this VIP room. We're going to see, if you're not VIP, we will still see you tomorrow to cover the record portion of the 5 days, the create your song portion. And that's going to be with our guy, Kevin Black Pearl McCluskey. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. Start recording some vocals.